Such a good clapper.
Have you tallied up how many times you've clapped and said, I'm such a good clapper? I reckon there's about 50 in there at least. So you could just montage you. Can you do that, please, Roller? Ready?
Yeah.
I feel out of breath. Show started. I mean, I didn't do any notes.
No.
No notes.
Same. Some things never change.
Yeah, there's no point.
If my notes slip, then Dolan creeps into this chair, doesn't he?
I just had a little thing in my head I was going to say, but I was going to do a little partridge.
Mum would be like, why have you bought this? When I was young, I'd be like, Mum, I like Bovril, let me live. My mum was like, oh, that's a lovely voice. Who is that talking? And my dad was like, oh, it's Chris Dolan. And she took one look at the screen and went, I do not like his hair.
What?
Hello, welcome to the Villa View podcast with myself, Dan Bardell, and to my right, Thomas Julian. You well, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. International break, innit?
Yeah, it could be a tough pod tonight because basically we covered everything that we wanted to cover about Villa last week, so it could be a bizarre podcast.
Usually, in the international break, you get some sort of news about your club, especially with Villa, how turbulent things have been. I feel like the big stretches we've had things to talk about. Almost nothing has happened. One thing that we didn't cover last week was Jed Steer got a contract update.
Oh, we didn't know, did we?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Jed Steer gets an extra year, which is good news. Should we start with that?
I mean, I've got to say I did know because someone told me, but I wasn't sure of their ITK history, so I didn't reveal it just in case it was wrong.
Right.
So now I know that I can trust that person.
Oh, there you go.
That's good. Another ITK source. Good to know.
Very, very good. But happy with the signing generally?
No brainer for Villa. It depends who's like executed it, whether it's the player's decision or the club's decision. I'd imagine it's probably the club, but obviously he'll be happy to get another year. He's number one at the moment, so you'd think if he ends the season well and does nothing wrong, you'd think he'd go into next season being the number one as well. But we've spoke about it before. We've spent £7 million on an international goalkeeper, which is not cheap, and it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
So part of me thinks it wouldn't be surprised to see Kalinic move in the summer now.
Well, Richard Griffith says, Neeland, Kalinic, Steer, which two make the matchday squad when fit and who starts? So let's assume that this is the start of next season and everybody's fit.
What league are we in? I've thrown you there, haven't I? Thrown you off.
Well, give me both scenarios.
Championship. If Steer doesn't do anything wrong and he ends the season as number one...
I like it that you said championship first, safety first.
Yeah, safety first, safety measures in place. We've got straight into it again, which has thrown me. Because don't you? If ever there was a week not to get straight into Villa, it's probably this one.
To be honest, it's going to go off rails early.
Okay. So if Steer does nothing wrong, he stays and then starts the next season in the Championship. In the Premier League, devil's advocate, would you be happy with any of them in the Premier League as a number one?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
Steer's definitely an adequate number two in the Premier League. He's done it before for Villa. It's early days with Kalinic. You can't judge him.
I misheard the question. Sorry. Did you say would you be happy with any of them?
In the Premier League, to be a number one in a Premier League season, would you be happy with any of the three that we currently have?
I wouldn't be happy with Nyland.
No?
No, because he hasn't shown me anything. And I had reservations in the summer, as you'll remember, coming from Bundesliga 2 already. I just didn't think...
You enjoyed saying that, didn't you? Bundesliga 2. I enjoyed listening to it.
Good. I already thought he worried me because he hadn't established himself so much. And so I know that the back four wasn't consistent, but he didn't show me anything that I think he could be a Premier League goalkeeper. Whereas with Jed Steer...
distribution? His distribution's good.
Well, that's fine, but that's not...
I'm just telling you.
That's not the makings of a goalkeeper.
I'm not saying
I'd like our goalkeeper to be able to save things.
Yes. But you said I've not seen anything. Well, I was just saying distribution.
Distribution is not enough. It's like on Football Manager when you've got everything at like 6 and then distribution 18.
I like Neeland.
Yeah, well...
I've got a soft spot for him.
It would be interesting to see what happens because obviously you weren't a fan of Johnston and Johnston came through to be a really good goalkeeper for us. Kalinic I don't think we've seen enough of yet and he obviously didn't have the benefit that Jed Steer now has where our defence is actually playing well. Jed Steer... I think the jury's out on whether he's a Premier League goalkeeper or not.
He's never really played there, has he? So
exactly. So
he's doing well at this level. He's a very good goalkeeper.
Absolutely.
And you actually said that in the summer. In your defence, you were perplexed by the fact that we got rid of him.
Yeah, it just seemed to me like a crazy move, and
you were right.
I was right, which is nice. Always
First time in the podcast history.
Would you want to hear some answers to Richard Griffith's questions from the viewers and listeners?
I've already forgotten what his question was, but yeah.
Neeland, Kalinic, Steer, which two make... Have you noticed that I say Neeland and Nyland? I swap them.
It's definitely Neeland, 100%.
Yeah, I know that as well.
Neeland. That's how you say it.
Very good. Wayne Turner says Kalinic starts with Neeland on the bench. Oliver Green says I'd put Steer in the first 11 and Neeland on the bench. So Neeland getting the bench on all counts. And Max Roberts, Steer and Kalinic. Neeland, not even League One standard, woeful keeper. Hopefully gets sold to Lichfield and District under 8s league next year.
That is incredibly harsh. Incredibly harsh. But that's what Max goes for. He wants a reaction, doesn't he?
I
He wants to say the most controversial thing he can say.
I don't disagree with Max.
I mean, he's not going to be playing for the under 8s, is he?
Well, obviously
obviously too old.
He can't qualify.
So you should disagree with Max because what he said is false.
But League One, I think, is probably his standard from what I've seen so far.
I think he was getting a lot better before his injury. A lot better. He was starting to settle. I think you're wrong.
Well, we don't know, do we? And
No.
it'll be interesting to see, like you say, whether if we don't go up, then maybe that's the end of Kalinic and we see more of Steer and more of Neeland.
It's going to be interesting. As I say, at the moment, Steer, who is obviously the one we're supposed to be talking about, he's got the shirt and he's done nothing. Got the gloves. Probably sounds better, doesn't it, in goalkeeping terms? He's got the gloves.
Yeah.
So he's the gloveman at the moment.
Well, this is your specialist subject, isn't it? One, because you're a goalkeeper. Two,
Not a goalkeeper anymore.
you're the manager of Union GK.
Union GK.
Which wasn't a popular
Good band.
Popular band.
Good band.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So you really should be the master here, but so far...
I think that probably tells you that if I couldn't pick a number one. In the Championship, I think in the summer, they'll all be ready for next season. I would say they'd all be a good Championship number one.
Who's your favourite ever Villa number one? I think I know the answer.
Bosnich?
Yeah.
100%. The first goalkeeper I really saw, penalty saving hero, knew how to wear a Larry goalkeeping top. Had a funny laugh. Nora couldn't kick. Talking about distribution,
Yeah.
he really couldn't kick. His distribution was very, very bad. But it's got to be Bosnich. What about you?
I always gravitate back to Peter Schmeichel.
He wasn't good for us.
No, I know, but I mean, Peter Schmeichel's the best goalkeeper that I've ever seen, I think.
It's nice that he was there.
And he was nice at Villa, but you're right, he wasn't the one. Again, I like Shea Given an awful lot again because he's a good quality goalkeeper.
We got a lot of good goalkeepers
But
at
at
the
the
wrong
end of
time when
it,
they were finished.
yeah.
Didn't we really? No idea.
Who's your number 2 then? Or your number 13?
And he just said Michael Oakes just because he was number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2. Again, he wasn't the best Michael Oakes, but again, I had a bit of a soft spot for him. There's something wrong with me. I think I'm wired strangely. Number 2, probably
No argument there.
Probably David James.
Yeah.
He made that horrific error in the FA Cup final, which cost us, but overall, I thought he was a very good goalkeeper for us.
I've got a really weird memory of David James.
Is it when he stayed up too late playing PlayStation and then he let in too many goals against Liverpool?
Yeah, kind of. I remember reading, I don't really remember too many of James's saves, but I remember reading an article that he wrote in The Observer on a Sunday about how he stayed up too late and was obsessed with stats and stuff. And from then on, I just didn't trust him.
He lost it at Liverpool, but then he came to Villa, and John Gregory actually got the best out of him, got a tune out of him.
Yeah.
He was like a monster.
Yeah.
Like, so big, his frame and stuff. He was such a good goalkeeper, David James. What I liked about him, he would make a mistake occasionally, but I liked that he was decisive. If he was coming,
Yeah.
he might not always get there, but at least he'd made up his mind. He was coming. He never really got caught in no man's land, David James. Good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I'm
look
not
at-
really a goalkeeper anymore. Now
No?
I've become an athlete again.
Right.
I can play outfield, although I played outfield on Friday and pulled my hamstring, overstretching for the balls. It was one of the most painful things that's ever happened to me, actually.
How long are you out for?
I don't know. I managed to go to the gym today and do some upper body, but it did. Honestly, it was excruciating, the noise it made. I've always thought when players say they got injured and they say, oh, I heard a noise, I've always thought, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
But I heard a crack.
Wow.
And it was like your knuckles cracking. It sounded awful. Someone else heard it.
Oh, really?
As well, and I was just in complete agony on the floor and I had to hobble off and I couldn't play anymore.
Did you drive home?
No, luckily I'd come with someone, so someone else drove me home.
It's a really random fact that I needed to know the answer
Yeah,
to.
one without me as well, so that was good. We were 1-1 when I went off the pitch, 7 aside, and we won 4-3.
Oh, okay. That's close.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of talk about the Villa View taking on Villa on tour and maybe a couple of other YouTube mobs, if you like. Where would you play? What do you think? Because you've obviously had pedigree in goal with Emil Heskey and the like.
Yeah, I think if we're being sensible, and I look at the rest of you and think there's not a goalkeeper there, so if they go in goal, we'll probably end up conceding if we take it in turns.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if I go in goal, we're probably better off. But then obviously I've seen you play. I know you're good. I presume Rollo's filming, so I presume he can't play. So we've got to draft in some people. Yeah, Matt Lynch will draft in. Saw Matt today.
Yeah.
He started his new job and had to come to Sky on his first day, so it was nice to run into former Villa View alumni.
Yep.
So I ran into him. He's got taller. Somehow he's taller than me now, unless I've shrunk.
Let's
But
get back to the
he's
squad.
not a great footballer.
You got Bardell, you got Lynch, Rushton. I think we could take.
Oh, yeah.
Dolan
And you?
and Julian. That's a
Unless
five.
we do 7. Well, I prefer 7 aside.
Well, yeah, but I don't think we got the numbers, mate.
We'll draft someone in. Big Max Roberts. Adam Wright, is he good at football? There's plenty of people we can get that you could classify as the Villa View.
Yeah.
On the Villa on Tours football video the other day, I'd never seen any of those people in my life.
Campion.
Apart from Campion and Owen.
Yeah.
Who were the other guys? So one of the guys supported Leeds. They were just drafting in anyone.
Yeah.
But not
Desperate.
much skills on show. There was one guy that looked half decent, I thought, and that wasn't Max Stokes.
Also, if this five-a-side does happen, which is looking like potentially summer video content.
Yeah,
potentially.
maybe.
Also got to take down Max Stokes in the old arm wrestling.
Yeah, I
Seems
mean,
we're
that's
both
the one.
champions.
That's the battle everyone wants to see. We could probably sell tickets for that. Do you reckon anyone would ever turn up and watch us play football? Or do you think it would just be a video thing? Answers in the comments probably is the best thing.
Yeah,
I
sure.
wouldn't advise spending a day watching us play football.
Yeah,
I wanted to do some You Know the Drill
that's fun.
stuff as well. We may as well do a whole load of videos while we're there, crossbar challenge,
Yeah.
anything like that. But I really enjoyed Owen's, I don't want to plug Villa on tour too much, but I really enjoyed that volley. It was the equivalent of the Matt Lynch penalty.
Yeah, it
was
was.
just so bad.
Skyward.
Yeah.
So there you go. It did go off track,
Yeah.
as we thought it would.
Just while we're on the subject of videos in the Villa View, we need to put some more thought into that event that we've mooted.
Yes.
I didn't feel like there was loads of interest in the comments. I thought there was a bit, but I didn't feel like there was tons of people who were like, yeah, we'd come and watch that. We'd come and do it. Because we were thinking we'd probably do a live podcast or something where people come, they can ask questions and whatnot. But yeah, just let us know in the comments again if that is something you would be interested in, because we'd like to know, numbers-wise, what we think we might get and get a venue.
Yeah, exactly. If it's going to be worth it in terms of the number of people versus how much content we can get, then we'd definitely like to do it. And if not only just to go for a couple of beers, have a good time. And
Yeah, as I say, I'd love to meet people. Even if it doesn't have to be video-based, I'd quite like to meet people. But it does seem a shame not to record something when we're all together.
Sounds good. Now, you might have noticed that, Dan, you've gone for a fetching new top. You've got a problem, haven't you?
Have I?
Yeah, you're on the hype now.
I thought you were like, a problem, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Or something like that. There's a big bobble coming out of it.
Well, there are a few bobbles, but that
that's
adds to the authenticity.
Part of the territory, man.
So, you and I, a couple of months ago, kind of started getting on a bit of an eBay bandwagon.
I had a few, to be fair, already, but now I've really gone next level and I'm going to get divorced, probably.
Yeah. So, talk us through this number.
Yeah, came this morning, £10 off eBay. I'm quite happy with it. It's a small, it might even be a kid's shirt, but it does fit. The trouble is with it is, right, the length's quite small, which I don't necessarily mind at the moment. But the arms are just always massive on these old shirts.
Yeah, they are.
It doesn't matter what size you get, the arms are huge.
Yeah, and they're itchy too. Like, you have to wear an undershirt.
This
if
is
you're
a
gonna go to the
personal
gym.
thing, the itchiness. I've not had that happen to me.
Oh, really?
You seem to have it with every shirt that you put on is itchy.
Definitely the old ones. Like, I've got a couple from 95 to 97 and then one from 99, I think,
Yeah.
and they are all very itchy.
Yeah.
But there you go. Audrey Lynch says she's delighted that there's a podcast, even though there's no game.
I thought Audrey Lynch was a man. My throat. I mean, we're not sure. I don't know why. I think the profile picture was a man. I think that's why I thought it.
Is Audrey a man's name as well? Apologies.
I don't know. Audrey, let us know.
Audrey Hepburn? It's definitely a woman's name.
I agree with you. Could be gender fluid nowadays. We just don't know. I've always assumed Audrey Lynch was a man.
Okay, I've always assumed a woman, so one of us is wrong.
We'll soon find out.
Okay, which kit did you love most, not including this year, as it's obviously the best one? You want to go first?
Martin Tyler, to be honest, it's put me off immensely. Probably one of your commentating heroes, I would imagine.
It's definitely up there. He's
And
got
Alan Smith.
some of the greatest commentary ever.
I'm surprised Alan Smith's not been in seeing me in a Villa show. Isn't he a Villa fan?
I don't know.
You can probably hear Martin Tyler actually on this video.
Do you want to answer the question?
What's the question?
You're
I'm distracted.
stalling.
I'm really distracted.
Which kit did you love most, not including this year, as it's obviously the best one?
I like the 99 2000 stripes. Because that was when I thought we were a really good side. Paul Merson was playing out of his skin. Ekiog, Southgate and Barry, back three, Boateng and Taylor in the engine room, Carboni and Dublin up front. I just really liked that side, and obviously massive John Gregory fan as well. And it was a bit different, wasn't it? I know people say, it should be claret with blue sleeves, but sometimes, every now and again, it's nice to chuck in something different, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't.
What about you?
I agree with you that I'm not a conformist to it has to be claret and blue. I don't really get.
I mean, it should be claret and blue.
Well, it should be with like originally, but it doesn't have to be exactly the way it was. I love the dark blue 95-97 away shirt.
Yeah, nice shirt.
I think partly it's because it was the first shirt I ever got, but obviously I associate it with some great players.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad like leaving it in his van and just going, "Oh, can you go and get my hammer or something out of his van?"
That guy.
So I went
What
to get
a
it,
guy.
and the shirt was just there on the side there, and I was like, when you're a kid, and that excitement just can't be beaten.
I mean, I haven't got a story to relate like that because I don't think my dad's ever done a day's DIY in his life.
My dad was a plumber.
He's awful at it, and that's why. Consequently, I'm not very good at it, and Ange has to do all the DIY in our house.
There you go. Lord Castle of Aston, have you heard anything about next year's kits and sponsors? Will it still be Luke and the gambling company? I'm not even mentioning their name as I don't like betting companies splashed on our shirt.
Say what you think later.
Yeah, that's it. We have to wait and see on the kits, but I think we can all agree that the deal with Luke Roper has been absolutely class for the club in a time where it was turbulent. To have Luke Roper doing the kits has just been brilliant.
I think I don't know what it's been like financially for the club, but they've sold a lot.
They're always sold out, aren't they?
You can never ever get one for love nor money, and I just think they are wonderful shirts.
Yeah.
They're really, really. I especially love the home one. I think I've got to learn with this Diet Coke. You can't do it. You can't do a podcast and drink Diet Coke.
Go for the berry boost, mate.
Yeah, healthy guy. Obviously, we don't know what's happening next season, but I think it's been good for Luke Roper. Mm-hmm. It's been good for me because I know Luke Roper and I like him a lot, and he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life, if not the nicest. I think even if it's just for a season, I think it's been something that's been nice. It's been a good thing.
Totally agree. So I think you and I decided in the car on the way here that we're going to wear some retro shirts to finish out the season. I'm going to get away from the traditional shirt and move on to a few retro football shirts, basically just to fund our habit of buying.
I'm going to do it forever. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm just going to keep wearing old Villa shirts because I've got a lot now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep doing it. I've probably got some shockers in there as well. I did have a Fabian Delph one, but I used it for a tea brew and got coffee all over it. So
I thought you were going to say to wash your car.
Well, so I just threw it away afterwards. I've lost a couple due to being upset about players leaving.
Yeah, fair enough. That's 16 minutes of a bit rambly. Should we get into the nitty gritty of Aston Villa?
Is there any nitty gritty, Tom?
Well, I wanted to talk.
There's more nitty gritty about Birmingham City, to be honest.
Well, that is true. Do you want to do that first?
Might as well get it off our chests.
Yeah. So Birmingham City, if you haven't been following this, they've been docked 9 points for financial fair play irregularities. They obviously pleaded guilty a while ago, so it was just a sentence. We didn't know how many points, if any, it was going to be. It could have been a maximum of 12.
Is that the maximum then? 12.
Yeah, I think
you always come with those little snippets.
That's what was moved to. Often they're wrong.
Yeah, they are wrong.
But it was 9 in the end, and there was mixed reviews from Villa fans. What did you think of it?
I mean, obviously, no Villa fan is ever going to be like, "Oh, it's fair. It's a fair punishment." I think it's a bit of a feeble punishment.
Do you?
Just in terms of I don't know what the reason is that it's taken so long. The decision's been made basically when they're not in playoff contention anymore. They weren't going to go down at the time, so the timing of it and just taking 9 off, I don't think they'll get dragged into a relegation. And they're not in the best form at the moment, but I don't think they'll get dragged into trouble at all. I just think it was a bit feeble. My only thought is that maybe they've done 9, and you never know. They might just chuck them a 3-point deduction for the Paul Mitchell thing.
Well, this is what we said. Yeah, so I don't necessarily.
And then they are in trouble.
Well, yeah. So they're 18th now, pending. They could still appeal it. Having said that, if they appeal, then it will probably be defaulted to next year, and they could face a 12-point starting 12 points down. So I don't think they're going to do that. But they go from 13th to 18th. They're 5 points off relegation. I think you look at the table and you've got Bolton and Ipswich who are already down, Rotherham who are the last team there, but they've still got to play Rotherham, I think, Birmingham. And they've got a couple of tough games coming up. I think they've got Sheffield United
They've got some other teams down there as well. I did look at it and it didn't look right for Birmingham, fixtures-wise.
If I can remember rightly,
Which you probably can't.
I think they're split. I think they're split between the top teams and the bottom teams. So I don't think it's an easy ride for them. And a couple of losses drags them right in. Especially, it's kind of annoying that Villa are playing Rotherham in a couple of weeks because
let's not count our chickens before they've hatched on. Because we might not beat Rotherham.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You kind of look at it and you kind of go, oh, I wish Villa were so far ahead that they didn't need to beat Rotherham and then could drop it, all this kind of stuff.
Dolan's going to Rotherham, so that's a concern.
He's not going
He's
anymore.
not got a good away. Is he not going anymore?
No.
Oh, okay. You've obviously spoken to him more recently than me.
Yeah, he can't go. But
I'll have his ticket.
I don't know if it's already been given away. I'm not sure. I'm going. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
So they
We'll
got.
get you to Rotherham in a midweek. No chance.
They've got 14 days to appeal. Basically, they were 10 million over the 37.5 million cap that you can have for 3 years, and that was basically all Harry Redknapp.
If they appeal, is that like if you appeal a sending off, you can end up with the worst punishment.
Yeah.
If they appeal, could they just say, "Well, you've appealed, we're going to give you a 12-point"?
Yeah, potentially.
Can it work like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
They won't appeal then.
well, I don't think so.
I think they'll be pretty happy with 9 points. I think the fans seem generally happy. And I do feel sorry for the genuine good Birmingham City fans, if there are any. I don't know. Like, there was a lot of people that deplored what happened to Jack Grealish, and rightly so. Like, you're not in control of what goes on at all, are you? And they've just been completely mismanaged. Like, it's a joke that fit and proper persons test, obviously, is falter. Mm-hmm. It quite easily could have been us still, where we don't know what it could end up being us.
Still could be, yeah.
in the future. But I do just think it was a bit of a feeble punishment.
Well, it really depends, doesn't it? I mean, if they go on a stinky run now and end up getting relegated,
They're on a stinky run.
But if they end up getting relegated, then it wasn't a stinky. But equally, if you gave them 9 points at the start of next year, they've got they've got a whole season to get out of it.
I suggest if you're starting off on -9, that's a bigger punishment than just being chucked in the middle of the season when you've actually had a decent season for where we thought they'd be.
A lot of Villa fans saying that they think it's quite a generous punishment.
What do you have to do to get 12 points deducted?
Not sure. I guess spend more.
Well, yeah, obviously. But you know what? That's not like they're a little bit over there, is it? That's 10 million. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but I mean, like you just said, Villa, Derby, Leeds. There's a few teams in that mix that could be in trouble. So I don't know whether this sets the bar. The random thing about this, I think, and people will correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure, but the punishments seem to be so varied between QPR and Bournemouth and now
there's no
Birmingham.
set rule, is there?
There doesn't seem to be, and it's all kind of done via panel anyway. But there doesn't seem to be any kind of conscious kind of red line running through all of these things.
No, you
It
do
just
feel like
all
they
seems-
make it up as they go along.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do kind of get that feeling, don't you?
Yeah.
There's a lot of football personnel going on behind us there, and it's really putting me off.
They're just hanging out.
Yeah.
Matt Collins, how do you interpret the Blues points deduction? They're 10 million over the limit. Lots of forecasts. We're headed for 25 million. That's what I was just alluding to there. Also reports that we're relaxed. I just can't take the club's word for it after last year. I think that's a very good point.
Ain't got a choice.
Well, Christian Purslow has kind of maintained that we're okay. And listening to Yorkshire Dave, and the Villa Trust did a good podcast on this with Yorkshire AVFC, and they kind of talked it through. And the way that Villa is kind of managing its kind of cap room, if you like, does seem to be a clever way of doing it, if not totally bending the rules. So Christian Purslow seems relaxed. I'm with you, Matt. I'm not going to be relaxed until we're out of the woods. But Villa do seem to have it more in hand than they ever have done. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
You prefer not to think about it, don't you?
It's because I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not clever enough. I mean, you're probably smarter at that kind of stuff than me, but even you're way off.
Yeah.
So there's no point in me getting involved. That's the way I see it.
I think if you listen to someone like Yorkshire AVFC, they break it down in a real, not easy to understand, but easier to understand. Yeah. And I think as Villa fans, it should be our prerogative to look beyond the numbers and just kind of work it out. Like, if you're spending a ton and you're not getting an awful lot back, at some point you're going to fail. And Birmingham City, 9 points to me seems like a just punishment. And the fact that they've had a pretty good season.
They've had a good season. Well, they're not lucky because Gary Monk's done well, but
they are though. You're right.
We didn't think they'd be anywhere near the heights that they've reached this season.
Totally. So if it had been somebody else in charge and they'd been 15th to start with, they'd be buried now. So you can't say that it's a lenient punishment just because they've done well. You know, they've still been punished. I don't know. The interesting thing is that they have no transfer embargo, and there'll be no other kind of sanctions after this. That's the interesting thing.
I do find that they can still buy people quite weird because they can't have much money to play with. So where's that money coming from?
Well, I guess that's then investment. You can
They'll
still
sell Che Adams in the summer.
but you can still make an almost £40 million loss Any club can do that, so that they do have that scope to play with, and you've got to have that. Otherwise, nobody's ever going to go up or down. You know, you'll never make it up and be able to stay up. So
a lot of clubs just gamble is basically what I've learned from being in the Championship.
Totally.
And if they don't make it, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed we make it this summer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we could well find ourselves, for all we know, in financial problems.
We there'll definitely be a lot more investigation, and if we do go up, that does paper over the cracks of a lot of it.
Whenever I think of financial fair play, I just think of that video of Keith Warner sat at his desk going.
Yeah.
I always think of that.
Makes me feel a
Keith,
bit
we're going to
sick.
pass financial fair play. That was a thumbs up for people listening via audio.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I also should say I've been in trouble. Someone on the comments, and Rollo's told me off about 3 times for coming off frame on the video version of the podcast, so I've got to make sure I stay in. Now I'm in this bright yellow jersey, it's easier to see whether I've slipped out of frame or not.
Oh, good. Yeah. Good self-policing.
Yeah, thank you.
I like it. Do you know what I'd like to tell you off for?
Loads of things I'd imagine.
This phone, I told you last
I'm
week.
not doing anything.
You flick it over all the time.
Nah.
It's really loud.
It's not loud.
It is.
I'm not doing anything there. I'm not doing anything wrong, Tom. Let
There
me
you
live.
go. I only brought that up because you're already telling yourself off, and I like to get involved.
Okay. I could tell you off for things, but I don't want to bring it up in public.
Go on.
No, I can't think of anything.
Exactly. You got free reign. If you can think of anything in the next kind of 20 minutes while we finish this podcast, you can tell me off. You got one.
Are we only doing another 20?
Well, we can carry on.
Half
doing
an hour. We've got at least half an hour in us.
forever.
I mean,
James,
we've not talked about Villa. There's been more about Birmingham City, but I suppose it's an interesting thing to talk about.
Yeah, James Powell says, thought on the whole Birmingham City deduction situation about other teams, including ourselves, Derby and Sheffield Wednesday, being brought into the picture for possible point deductions. Just wondered what your take was on the whole saga. Yeah, so kind of like we say, Dan and I are kind of taking it from 2 different angles. I'm trying to learn more about it, and Dan's... You're interested in it, but you're not going to...
It's not that. Well, I'm more interested in what happens to them based on the Jack Grealish thing.
Yes.
That's what I'm more interested in, because that involves Villa directly.
So, if I'm not mistaken, we should hear about that in the next week or 2
Again,
weeks?
no, there's been no deadline or anything. I've not seen it, was there?
There was a deadline of Friday for them to appeal the guilty verdict, essentially.
And they can't appeal that.
No, I don't think they would do. So I think it would be fairly unprecedented for them to get points deductions for it. What I'd like to see...
Next derby should be played behind closed doors, possibly.
Why the derby, though? I think...
Because that's the worst one.
But do you think that takes away from Villa fans? Like,
Oh, no, we can go.
so the away fans can go?
Let us sit in their ground.
So generally, that was kind of my thought. It was like, what if you play a game behind closed doors, except the away fans can come?
Yeah, let us
and
go.
the whole thing is, you can sell the whole thing for away
It'd be nice
fans.
for St Andrews to see a sellout. It really would.
Very good, very good. But that generally was my... I think that would be a fair punishment to have it played behind closed doors, a game.
Again, no, like the Blues fans would just be in the vicinity, wouldn't they? They weren't allowed to come to that game. They'd be around the ground, even if they weren't inside the stadium.
Yeah.
They'd still be around the ground.
But you're never going to... You can't, like, cordon it off 2-mile radius around St Andrews.
No, they could do a test outside the premises. The home fans in the Macedonia England game. Is it Macedonia England are playing tonight?
Montenegro?
Montenegro?
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. They've got to... if anyone trying to get in the home end's got to like prove that they can speak the language.
Is this for real?
Yeah, I swear.
Really?
I've read that today, yeah. Because they reckon a load of England fans are going to turn up and try and get in the home end as a way of getting in, obviously. They have to prove that they...
A load of Montenegro.
I've confused you.
You really have.
You know.
You've checked me.
England used to play in Macedonia quite a lot, and it's obviously stuck in my head.
You know, we're playing Kosovo in a couple of months' time. That's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah. Kosovo away.
Yeah.
I won't be going there.
No. Interesting, though. Interesting return. Well, let's talk a little bit about Villa then.
Fair play to you for having 3 pages, because there is nothing to go on about.
And usually one of those is the table.
Yeah, you've not got the table?
No.
And we discussed that last week. If you want to see what we think about the league table, listen to last week's podcast.
We could do with the numbers, to be honest.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the England squad then. You've actually brought it up with your Macedonia and Montenegro chat. Gareth Southgate had a little bit to say on Jack Grealish. Obviously, Southgate, a former villain himself. And there was some conflicting reports about whether he said that Jack had to play in the Premier League, whether he didn't, all this kind of stuff. So I've got the kind of quotes here.
Just before you read that, I tried to get us an interview with Gareth Southgate a couple of times since he's been England manager by contacting the England press officer, and he's had none of it both times.
Nah.
The first time, actually, he dangled a carrot, gave me a glimmer, and then I contacted him again after the World Cup, and he's like, no, basically said, it's too big now. You've got no chance.
Well, I mean, even now, if he like tanks then he'll still have too much interest in
Everyone loves him now, don't
Yeah, they do.
I've always loved him. Even when he left, like, I remember not wanting to boo him because I just had a lot of respect for him. I always liked the way he handled himself at Villa. But I just saw quite a few negative tweets when I mentioned Southgate and Grealish thing on Twitter. A few people brought up, he went to Middlesbrough.
It was a weird move, though.
It was a weird move, but we were in a strange period of Villa at that time with Doug Ellis and everything. It all wasn't well behind the scenes.
But was Middlesbrough any better?
I mean, he did win a cup with Middlesbrough, to be fair. It was only a League Cup.
Yeah.
But to be fair, that's all he won with Villa.
Yeah.
So,
two League Cups.
And we've won nothing since 1996, so you could say, well, he went there and won something at least, which he wouldn't have done if he'd stayed at Villa.
Do you think would you class him as a club legend or no?
The legend thing's really hard. How many legends has there been in our time? Actual legends.
Actual Villa legends.
Yeah, like you can think people are grey and heroes of yours and stuff, like Paul Merson, for example.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
hero
thinking.
of mine. But would he be classed as a Villa legend? He'd get in the all-time 11 of my Villa team since I've been watching. But is he a legend? Legends reserved for people like Sid Cowans, Paul McGrath, Dennis Mortimer, people like that in my mind. Ian Taylor, I would class him as a legend. I think he gets in, which I'm sure he'd be delighted.
Does Hugo become a legend like posthumously?
No,
No?
I don't think so. Again, another hero of mine, someone I would class as a hero. But the legend thing, very few people I would class as legends of Villa. Not just Spink. I would have watched him play. Obviously, towards the end of his career, he probably goes down as a Villa legend. But in my time of watching Villa, I'd probably say only Paul McGrath and Ian Taylor.
I was going to say any strikers. I'm trying to think.
York.
I
Again,
would put York in there.
It's the way he left us, leave us Salatas, and then he went on to play for Birmingham. It's very difficult. I don't know. Let us know in the comments how you define a legend, because there'll be people who are a lot younger than us. It's not even someone like Rollo, for example. Like, he'd only started watching Villa in about 2004, 2005. I'm guessing, so he would probably say, like, John Carew is a legend. But again, he's a hero. I wouldn't say he's a legend. Like, it's difficult, but I'd say Ian Taylor was the last legend that there has been at Aston Villa.
There has to be a
Villa
period,
legend.
doesn't there, where like you can't have played for just 5 years or something like that. You need to have a broader
Well,
scope
you could have
of
played
work.
for 5 years. I mean, I don't know how long some of the older players played for, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Sid Cowans is
Yeah.
a bona fide legend. Brian Little is a bona fide legend. Ian Taylor, I think there would be very few people that would disagree with me that he is a club legend. But since then, this is a big shout. Interesting. I don't think there's anyone you would class as being a legend.
Please let us know in the comments what you think about the legends, because it is an
John
interesting
Terry is a
debate.
legend, a football legend.
Yeah, but not.
He's not a Villa legend.
No, agreed.
So that's what I'm saying. The last Villa legend for me was probably Ian Taylor. I can't, unless I've disastrously missed someone. Even Petrov,
Oh yeah, good shout.
Gareth Barry. Again, he left in not the best of ways, although I don't really see a problem in how he left. He's the closest, I would say. I genuinely don't think there's anyone else.
Yeah, I think the legend / cult hero. There's such a.
So I think cult hero is another completely
Yeah,
different thing. Like,
totally.
a cult hero for me is someone like Ulysses de la Cruz or Marlon Harewood, who is my
Yeah.
cult hero. Someone who most people wouldn't even class as a hero, but you just
Juan
loved.
Pablo Angel.
He'd be a hero, I'd say.
Right.
It's an interesting argument.
Olof. Where would you put Olof?
Yeah, see, and Larson, but again, he only didn't.
Olof
play.
way more than Larson.
No, but
in
Lee,
my
I'm saying
opinion.
Larson didn't actually play that many
Exactly,
games.
yeah.
Melberg's close as well. Melberg and Barry are close to Villa legendary status, I would say. Close. They're the closest to.
Right.
No, Alan Wright's a hero again. Hero of mine. I loved Alan Wright, but not a legend. It's difficult. Let us know in the comments what you think of that. It's a debate that just came from nowhere.
It did.
Really for us, but good. A good thing to discuss on the international break.
All right, so Southgate on Grealish. With Callum Hudson-Odoi, he's playing Europa League, he's playing Premier League. That does make a difference. I'm not going to say we won't pick a player from the Championship, because that could happen, but it's far more difficult to assess at his level. You see certain parts of his game, but not others in the Championship. So not the physicality at times, nor the tactical discipline. That's another level in the Premier League, the speed and the pace. As an ex-Villa man, I hope it's not too long before we see Jack play.
So what you're saying, he wants Villa to go up, basically, there is what you're saying.
Essentially, he's not saying that Grealish has to play in the Premier League, but it's a lot harder for him to get into the England squad than it might be for a Premier League player. Which, I mean, that doesn't come as a huge surprise to me. No. The one thing that I would say is that he kind of set his stall out previously with picking up Mason Mount, players like that, where he said that actually it doesn't matter. Whereas now he's kind of changing it a little bit. And there are lots of good players. We talked about Maddison last week, who
he's not getting looking, is he?
Who deserves it. He's got the most assists in the Premier League, I think.
Has he?
I think so, yeah.
Good start. Probably false.
But there is a lot of competition. This squad is young and it's very, very talented. But what did you make of Southgate's comments in general?
I wasn't overly enamoured with it, just by the fact that I think it's an invitation to say to Jack in the summer, if we don't go up, if you want to play for England, mate, you've got to be playing in the Prem. Which I think we probably all knew anyway, but it's not nice to hear it out loud, especially from someone like Gareth Southgate, who I say was a hero of mine, not a legend. When I was younger, I think there's a few different angles you can look at it. Like you say, there's a player doing very well in the Premier League, Maddison. He's not getting a look in. I thought the squad he'd picked this time, like Loftus-Cheek keeps getting in the squad. He's not playing at all. He's like barely playing in the Europa League.
Hudson-Odoi's not played a Premier League game yet, has he?
He's and this is where I take umbrage with it a little bit. He's picked Hudson-Odoi because obviously he's a talent. He came on the other night and he looked very good. There's a lot of teams fighting over him because his future with Chelsea is a bit up in the air. So he's a unique talent. So I think he create special circumstances. He's created a special circumstance for Jack Butland because he's playing the Championship and he's getting called up every week. Jack has played in the Premier League. Mason Mount, who got called up earlier on in the season, has never played in the Premier League.
Yeah.
In my eyes, Jack Grealish is a unique talent. I don't think England have anyone like Jack. I don't think there's another English player like Jack. So for me, and what he's trying to do with England, for me, there's a space there for Jack. I think because I think he'd just fit in with England.
I would have loved to see him in that team that played Czech Republic the other night, because there was some football there that was really, really intricate.
It's a great time to be an England fan. Great time.
And an England player or a prospective England player.
Your dad would be buzzing as only an England fan.
Very much.
This must be how we'd feel if Villa were good.
Yeah.
Is that how he must feel about England now?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great time, like you say, to be an England fan and to be a part of that squad, which you saw Jadon Sancho like loving it in training, making a mockery of Harry Maguire.
Good player.
And Jack Grealish must be looking at that and going, I can do that. I can compete with these guys and make this team better. I'd have loved to see him against Czech Republic. I also don't think that Southgate's comments quite stand up when you're playing the likes of Montenegro and Kosovo. Like, these teams aren't brilliant.
No.
The Kosovo team is going to be very, very shoddy. So you don't need Premier League players to win that game.
The only thing I can think of is that Gareth Southgate's worked with Jack at under-21 level.
Yeah, that's true.
At that period of time, Jack wasn't going through the best phase in his career. He wasn't playing well. Villa were getting relegated. He was in and out the side. He never really got a great run when Tim Sherwood went, did he? So Southgate probably had him at the under-21s when he obviously had a few off-the-field problems as well.
Sure.
So it wasn't a great time for Jack Grealish when he was in the under-21s. Southgate might remember that, and there'll be people watching Jack, so there'll be people in the England side that are watching him, and they can't fail but be impressed by what they've seen. Obviously, first impressions are quite key.
Sure,
they can change, because like I say, when I met you, I thought you were cool. Since then, my impression has changed completely.
And Jack Grealish was...
You get what I'm saying?
Jack Grealish was a kid then. Like, Gareth Southgate, a lot of water's been under the bridge since all of that has happened, and Southgate's not had a perfect career. That's for certain as well. So, you're absolutely right. First impressions do mean a lot.
For me, he should be there, though.
But hopefully... Scott Rigby says, I was watching the England game on Friday night and honestly thought Jack would not look out of place in that team.
I felt like that in the World Cup, though, in the summer, when we just needed something to bring on, and we were bringing on Loftus-Cheek, who is a good player, but I genuinely don't think he's Jack level. I think Jack's a level above Loftus-Cheek. Obviously, he's a good player, someone whose development's not been served well by being at Chelsea at all. Did well at Palace last season on loan, got in England as well. But to me, Jack's a better footballer than Loftus-Cheek. I just think he's a lovely player to be able to bring on in big games as well, draw fouls. He's a unique talent. We don't have anyone like him. I've said that about 5 times now. Yeah. England, the country, do not have a footballer like Jack Grealish.
What does Ali or Barkley offer that Jack doesn't? I'm not saying he's better than them, but definitely on par. I feel like Dele Alli is a class player, but we haven't seen the best of him for the last 6 months.
I feel like he's a different type of player to Jack.
Sure.
Jack's now an 8. For me, Dele Alli's a 10. Dele Alli's I'd have the team up just before we came in, but I didn't catch whether Dele Alli was in it. They were saying he didn't play that great the other night, so Barkley came on and did well, so Barkley's going to play this evening. I really like what Southgate's done with England.
Sure,
in general, I think what he's done has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
But on this, and obviously I'm going to have my Villa hat on a bit, there's going to be a little bit of bias. There's going to be some bias from both of us, because we love Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
And I suppose if there was any other player getting called up in the Champions League, like when Mason Mount got called up, I was thinking, what? What's that all about? Why is he getting in?
Yeah.
But he's never really... He had a good season at Vitesse Arnhem, was it? They're the Dutch club with links with Chelsea. He did well in Holland, didn't he, to be fair? Mason Mount. I just don't know. I think there's a space for him.
Playing with your phone?
Yeah. Is he making a noise?
Joe Schwaber?
Yeah.
Sure. To be honest, I'm not bothered too much by Jack not being called up, though. He deserves it, as Mount did. He's played a lot of games in a very short time since coming back from injury.
Yeah.
Want him fresh for our playoff push. Absolutely, totally agree with that. Lob also says, why is everyone wanting Jack to play for England? Have you not learned what happens when a Villa player has joined up with the England squad? Then always move because of the wages of the other players in the squad. I kind of feel like Jack's going to move or we're going to go up. Those are the two options.
Yeah, if we go up, he'll stay. I'm almost 100% sure of that.
So putting him in the shop window doesn't, if anything,
his value up.
That's a benefit to Villa as a commodity.
Yeah, if we don't go up, it's a big ask for him to stay again. Obviously, he'll love being captain of his hometown team. You can see that he loves it, and you can see that once again, it's taken his game up another level. Mm-hmm. He won't be here if we get promoted. If we don't get promoted, sorry, in my opinion. But like you say, if he's playing for England, that's going to raise attention and raise the price, which is obviously what Villa would need. Yeah,
well, we've already seen it with Villa playing on telly in the last few weeks and Grealish being fit again. You know, people are starting to take note of him again, and I mean, fair play, he was injured for a long time, so It's not surprising that he wasn't highly sought after. But if he finishes the season strong and leads us close to or back to the promised land, then there's going to be a lot of interest.
I'd like to know who asked the question about Jack to Southgate in the press conference. Yeah. Who was it? Where did that come from? It's just in one of the papers. Matt Law, possibly.
Telegraph had it. Sky Sports had it as well. So I don't know where it originated.
I'd just like to know where the question came from. Obviously, for someone to even ask that question, he's got to be. I wouldn't say he's in the mix at the moment. I think he's Football 365 do a World Cup ladder,
right,
or Euros ladder of what they think at the moment. Who would the 23 be, and then the other 27. Outside of that, and they rank them all in importance. Really good. It's probably my favourite article actually that I read about football. Jack's never been in that top 50.
Right.
And other lesser players have been in there, but I don't think Jack's in the mix at the moment, especially as someone like Maddison isn't getting a call up. Again, I think they're different types of players as well. But he's definitely good enough. Definitely good enough.
Unsurprisingly, James Chester misses out again.
What's that guy got to get an England caller?
If you don't understand that reference, you need to go back to the start of last season's podcast when I was a real idiot.
Tom really wanted James Chester called up for England, forgetting that he was Welsh. It's a classic podcast moment. You've come on leaps and bounds since then, to be fair. Your mistakes are few and far between.
Thanks.
No, but when they usually come in, they're massive.
Yeah. Fair enough. One other England player that isn't playing this week, Tammy Abraham, was supposed to be in the under-21s but pulled out. He had a calf injury, came off in our last game, the Middlesbrough game before the international break. Instagram shows him running and he looks like he's having a nice time. So how worried should we be about Tammy Abraham?
Yeah, he was running with his missus, wasn't he, on Instagram, because we double-checked before we came on. I'm injured and I wouldn't be able to run on a treadmill. I could do upper body, but nothing on the treadmill for sure. I mean, I'm pretty leery on the treadmill anyway, actually. So that tells me that he's okay. I think it's probably a precaution. But if he does, someone's asked, hasn't he, if he doesn't make it, who plays up front, Codger or Davis?
Yeah, Rich Sutherland. Yeah,
Davis every day of the week for me. He's similar to Tammy. He's not as big a goal scorer as Tammy, but he's a hold-up play is better. Definitely better than Codger's as well. So Davis would be the natural replacement for me rather than Codger.
Do you think Dean Smith would do that? Codger would throw his toys massively out of the pram. But I mean, sure, you shrug your shoulders, but you've still got to look after a squad. Do you think that matters to Dean Smith?
I just don't think Codger can play as a lone striker. I don't think he's got hold-up players good enough. I don't think he does the things that a lone striker should be doing a lot of the time.
I think it would be.
He's undoubtedly a talent. I'm not saying he's not a talented footballer, because he is. But I think up there, is it always right?
When Keenan Davis was playing his best football last year, he was able to bring players in.
I love Davis.
Like not many other strikers can.
Yeah, I really rate him.
With our front kind of 3 or 4 or 5 even, working the way it is at the moment, that would really suit his style of play. He doesn't need to score a lot of goals in that system.
I think he's closer to Tammy than Codger is in terms of the way he plays the game.
Yeah, Tammy gets a lot more he finishes.
Yeah, he's a better finisher by far, Tammy. We saw last season that was one criticism of Davis. He didn't score enough goals, but he did make those around him better. And Adoma scored a lot of goals when Keenan Davis was playing up front. Suddenly, when Keenan Davis wasn't playing, the goals kind of dried up to an extent for Adoma when Gravis Grabban came in and played most of the season. Adoma didn't really score after the Wolves. I don't think he did score after the Wolves game. So I just think Keenan Davis is the natural replacement, but he's not been fit. So we've not seen a lot of him this season. That was his first appearance in the Championship this season in the last game against Middlesbrough, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think Dean Smith would pick Codger.
Yeah.
Like you say, and bring Davis on. But for me, I'd pick Davis.
Yeah. Interesting. One player that is vying for a return to the first 11. Axel Tuanzebe, now training again. After 3 months he's been out, and Dean Smith has a bit of a headache at the back. Obviously on loan from Manchester United, not going to stay with us next year, it very much looks like. What do you do back four?
I don't think you change it. You've kept a clean sheet in the last game. So you've conceded 1 in 3 with that back 1 in 3. Was it 1 in 4?
Yeah.
With that back four. No, because Derby didn't Neil Taylor came on, didn't he?
Oh, with the same back four.
So I'm saying
sorry.
that back four.
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't explain myself great. We're getting on well, aren't we?
We are.
I don't know.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Arguments. I don't like it. The 3 games with that back four, we've conceded 1 goal. So for me, you can't change that straight away. And it'd be a big ask for Tuanzebe to come in and play after 3 months out. I imagine he's played a game behind closed doors this week, or he's doing next week. I think long term he'll come back into the team and Hawes will go back to left back. Interestingly, my mate went to the Wales game yesterday. My best mate Stu was in a box, and Neil Taylor was in the same box as him. He didn't play for Wales yesterday. He wasn't even in the squad.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm presuming he was injured. So maybe he's got some kind of knock. I don't know.
Right.
But he was definitely not involved yesterday because my mate said he spoke to him and that he was a nice guy. So if that happens, then obviously Tuanzebe will probably come back in and Hawes will move to left back. But I think for the next game, you keep it exactly the same.
We need to hang out in more boxes. We could do some more podcasts in the box and get
It'd be nice to be in the box every. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't want to be in the box every week. I enjoyed it in the Luke box a few weeks ago. It was marvellous, but marvellous. Wrong manager here.
How the other half live?
It was great, but I wouldn't want to do it every week because I like being in the high end. Despite some of the ridiculous things that you hear.
Jack 28 AVFC. If you could sign El Ghazi and Hawes or Minks on his own, which one would you do?
I think we're going to sign Hawes anyway, so I kind of debunk the question a little bit. Mings is massive. Mings is been such a good player for us. I think if we could keep him, I'd have to say Mings.
So do I.
And risk losing Hawes and El Ghazi, because Mings is just phenomenal.
Jamie Richards, would you bring Tuanzebe in for Taylor against Blackburn? As we just found out that Taylor might not be fit for that game. That might be an exclusive, you know. Smashing exclusives all over the shop.
It could be exclusively wrong, but no, my mate's got no reason to lie to me.
Yeah, Jamie Richards says, personally, I feel that it would be very harsh on Taylor as he's performed well recently, though I would like to see Axel getting 20 minutes or so. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, it's a nice problem to have, right? That Axel Tuanzebe was really coming into his own under Dean Smith, and we'd love to see him back. And I know some Manchester United fans that are keen to see him in action next season. So, it's been great. The move started off pretty slowly for him all that time ago last season, but he's definitely benefited, there's no doubt.
He's a great footballer, Tuanzebe, and we were raving about him, not quite to the extent of Mings, but before he got injured we were saying how good Tuanzebe is. Obviously there's Chester to come back as well. He's club captain. Well, I presume he's still club captain. Like, Chester's a great defender at this level, if not the best defender. Yeah, at this level,
and it should be remembered that Chester has played with an injury for ages.
That's a good team player.
Yeah, and so the people that are complaining that Chester's not been that brilliant, it's because he's been crocked.
Yeah.
So,
and you've got to blame Steve Bruce for the fact that Chester had to do that because we didn't have anyone else.
Yeah. So when they're all back, that's going to be an interesting decision Dean Smith has to make. But I think I agree with you that until it breaks, keep it as it is.
One handy thing with Tuanzebe coming back is obviously with Hutton being injured at the moment, Bree's gone on loan, Delat's still in Australia. Elmo gets injured, we didn't have a right back, but Tuanzebe can play right back if we need him to, and I'd suggest in a Dean Smith way of playing, he'd be more effective at right back than he was when he was playing there under Bruce earlier on in the season. So that's a good option to have because again it's cover in a position. Elphic's out for the season, isn't he? I think he's pretty much out of the picture now.
Yeah, too much celebrating at Birmingham.
Yeah. That was good. That was
Very good. I like that a lot for Elphick.
Yeah, it's good. And the coaching staff. Well, they're not coaching staff. The backroom staff that were there as well. It's good times.
I've got some stupid questions for you. You ready for those?
Are they from you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything else you want to talk about Villa?
I've got to say that 50 minutes is absolutely flown by. Podcast is a breeze when you don't actually have to talk about anything.
Yeah, it's good,
an absolute breeze.
It should be said that there's going to be a preview for the Blackburn game coming up later in the week as well. So don't fear, there will actually be some useful Villa content.
So some people will have listened to this podcast and thought these two idiots not even talking about Villa. Some people will have loved it.
Yeah,
that's the way it is.
You know what? They're the people we.
Going to try not to talk about politics in any way, stretch, shape, or form this week.
I was going to introduce it and just go. Right now, we're just going to give this hour over to Brexit and how we revoke Article 50. But
apologise for any offence caused last week with our political. It was throwaway remark.
I don't apologise.
Okay.
One little bit.
Well done, Tom.
Ash Lockyer, hypothetically, are Villa more likely to win if you two were playing as the two up top or as centre backs? I've always wondered.
I mean, he's not always wondered.
No, he hasn't.
Because he sees me quite a lot and he's never asked me that question.
I like Ash. He's
a good guy.
I would go up top. I think we're going to cause way more problems.
That's the same answer as me.
At the back.
I thought if we play up top, there's a chance a midfielder might score.
Yeah.
Whereas if we play at the back, there's going to be problems.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
I think you'll see that if we do get to put this Villa on tour video together, the five-a-side video.
Don't call it the Villa on tour
video. No, I
video.
meant against Villa on tour. But anyway, if it does come together, then you'll see exactly where you'd like us to play, and neither option is preferable, I'd imagine. Villa Mad, out of the Villa View crew, who would be the last man standing in a cage fight, and in what order would they finish? He, Villa Mad, thinks Tom the Silent Assassin Julian would win.
I've got to say, after the arm wrestle, I think you probably would be, yeah?
I mean,
I think I'd be there with you. I think Rollo and Dolan would get tired. They're quite unfit.
I've also got a history as a judoka.
So. History as a joker as well.
So, you know, I know how...
I think it would get down...
Arm locks, chokes and strangles. Can't even say it.
Charm locks. Charm locks is about right.
Charm locks, chokes and strangles.
I think it would get down to me and you as the final two, I would say. Yeah, as I say, the others would be out of breath.
Now I know your hamstring's done as well. So
Dolan, you could just pull his hair and he'd be like, "What? Oh, you messed my hair up," and he'd have to run out.
There's no way Dolan would get in the ring.
Yeah, Rollo's. I'm worried about his weakness because he doesn't really eat carbs. Although he did have a Domino's pizza at the weekend, he never eats carbs. Rollo, that's his way of look. That's basically his version of going to the gym. He's just never eating carbs. So I think he'd be weak and faint in a cage match. Is it a cage match? Have I imagined that? Is that what the question was?
Yeah, cage fight. Yeah,
cage fight. Me and you. I'm trying to think that I might win now. But no, I'll give it to you. Just on the back of the arm wrestle. I've got to give you kudos.
I'm going to take it as well. Stephen Deakin, are you going to run an end-of-season awards podcast with the Villa View followers being able to vote in a variety range of awards?
I mean, what would the categories be? Best haircut.
Yeah.
There's not many takers there.
Best rabbits.
Best rabbits. I've got that one nailed on. I would like to think.
Oh, well, no, I was thinking picking out of the rabbits. You put a picture of each three. You don't vote.
Oh, what? Oh, okay.
Well,
I'd imagine the Villa View people would vote for Chester because he's got a Villa name over the other two. But
I don't know what the other two are.
I don't know. I'm not sure what categories you've had. If you've got any ideas for categories, let us know and we'll try and throw something together. But
we could do something stupid like that if we're going to do a live...
I mean, we do a lot of stupid things.
Yeah.
So,
add it to the mix. Brett Leader, I'm trying to plan my holidays for September, maybe finally coming to the Villa. Can we start the playoffs now so I can see if we get promoted before I plan too much? It's only 8 games. Nobody will notice.
I'm happy to end the season now and go straight to the playoffs, to be honest, because that means we're in the picture.
And we're in form.
I'm feeling good about us being in the top 6 at the moment. It's dangerous. I don't like it, but I am feeling good about it. But we've come back down to earth before. I was feeling good about it in November as well.
If the playoffs ended now, is there anyone that you'd worry about? So who's that? Leeds are third.
I would worry about Leeds, obviously, because they're a good side, but they're on bad form.
They're flagging.
At the moment, they're doing the normal Leeds thing, aren't they?
Well, I had a friend, I can't remember if I talked about this last week, and he talked about Bielsa being such a tiring way of playing. So if they have to go through, if they basically, you're deflated because you haven't made it automatically, and then you have to go through 2 extra games, and then the final if you get there, that's a massive ask, and the way we're playing, I don't worry about anybody.
No, I'd like to play West Brom in the playoffs, if I'm going to be honest.
You're dipping out, I just saw it.
Oh, sorry. I'd like to play West Brom in the playoffs, if I'm being honest. I'm still annoyed by that handball. I'd like to.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to take them on and do them over 2 legs. I wouldn't want to risk Wembley. I wouldn't want to risk losing to West Brom at Wembley, if I'm being honest. Last year, I was always worried about Fulham. I was always like, I just want Cardiff to finish third and Fulham to finish second because I didn't want to play them at Wembley because I thought they'd beat us.
But we're the Fulham.
Nah, well, we're not quite to that extent because they finished third.
As in, we're on the charge like they were.
But they were on the charge for a longer period and nearly got automatics. We're not at that level.
I think if we hit, no, we will never hit automatics or get close to, but we will if we finish
strong.
If we finish strong, we start the way that after the automatic.
I'd love to know what your synopsis is here, Tom. Everyone's wondering.
I think
you're even wondering.
If we start again against Blackburn, the way we finished before the international break, and keep on going like that, then we'll be the team to beat.
I mean, after all that, it wasn't even that insightful. It was not insightful.
It's because you gave me so many positive comments earlier. I've lost my head.
I knew that would throw you. Yeah, I don't really fear anyone if we do get in the playoffs. I feared Fulham last year.
Yeah.
I just thought Bruce wouldn't outsmart them, and he didn't. And we were pretty one-dimensional, weren't we, in the playoff run? Now I think I look at when we're on it, we are on it. Like we beat Wolves last season, played very well, but obviously beat them 4-1. But that was the exception, really, wasn't it? Rather than the rule. When we've played well this season, there's been more games where you'd say, "Oh, we've played really well there, and unstoppable."
Well, the last couple, we've looked like we're like you. I think you've said it. It's comfortable to watch us play. You don't feel like you're going to concede a last-minute equaliser or anything like that. And that's a breath of fresh air. So if we can carry that form through, it'll be very, very good.
I'm still worried about the Sheffield Wednesday game. That's the one keeping me awake at night, if I'm being honest. It's got a bad feeling about it. But the rest of it, I'm pretty confident.
Did you say it's Wednesday night?
No, Sheffield Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Is it a midweek?
You have gone.
Lost my head.
55 minutes in, you've gone. No, it's a Saturday.
All
it's in a few weeks. Saturday the 5th or 6th or something. You've gone.
Yeah.
You have gone. Are you all right?
Lost it. Absolutely lost it. Is that at home?
That's away.
Should we go?
Can investigate the possibility, but I think the tickets have sold out. I'm not sure I can do that weekend either. I'm not sure I can do that weekend.
All right, interesting.
You always say, should we do this, should we do that? And then whenever I ask you about it, you go, I can't do it.
Actually, no, I don't.
Okay. I've done it a few times.
I say yes and then look at the calendar and not allowed.
Don't commit to anything on a podcast that's going out unedited.
I'm too excited.
Yeah, don't be excited.
Craig Brooks then. Dan, have any squad... So this is a question that came in last week and we just didn't have time to talk about it, but it was a good question. Dan, have any squad numbers annoyed you over the years? Baker wearing the number 2 shirt and Ireland wearing number 9 still messes with my squad number OCD.
Didn't like Ireland as number 9.
I don't mind that.
No, because he wasn't a striker. I mean, we've had other suspect number 9s as well, to be fair. I didn't mind the Baker to 2 because he went from 32 to 2. So I thought that was a fairly... I like it when that happens, when people progress. Like 32 to 2.
Promoted.
That's logical in my mind.
Right, okay.
I can't think of any others, really, that I've not liked. Ireland as 9, that was a massive no. But I didn't like when Michael Bradley came in on loan and he was number 13. That's a substitute goalkeeper's number.
Sure.
Or Danny Murphy. Don't be wearing number 13, Michael Bradley. And it didn't work out for him.
So
you were playing the squad number for that.
You were okay with Danny Murphy?
I liked his commitment to it because he was 13 at Liverpool and then he took that on to Spurs, Charlton, he wore it again, so he stuck with it. So I can cope with that. Michael Bradley never wore 13 anywhere else, and he's never wore 13 anywhere else since, I would imagine. So I didn't like that one very much either. Tell you a dodgy one that I didn't like for no apparent reason. I didn't like it when Pires came in and was number 8, just because he was 7 at Arsenal. He was always 7, but Ashley Young was Villa's 7 at the time. I just thought 7 was his number, and it didn't look right in being number 8. So I think people get a number and you associate them with that number, like Henry 14. You get what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then if they go elsewhere and they've not got that number, I don't like that.
Can I diverge into American sports for a second?
Oh, if you must.
So there's a bit of a culture, like if you are a number at college and then you get drafted quite high, and there's somebody already with your number, like quite high money has been traded hands to get that number. Yeah.
I mean,
but there's also
numbers is big business, mate.
Been some random ones. There was some old guy, I think, who joined the Cowboys, and he had to give the outgoing guy, who was like an old veteran and like of the old school, just like 10 crates of beer.
Really?
And I was like, yeah, that's class.
Because like 23 is a big number, isn't it, in basketball? Because obviously that's what Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Also, everyone wants to wear number 23, and Anthony Davis wears it, doesn't he, at the Pelicans? Can't think of anyone else that wears that number. I'm very interested by squad numbers. I'm a little bit disappointed you've not prepared a game. I thought there'd be a game in the international break,
I
you know.
went for iTunes reviews in the...
Did you? Well, we're an hour in. We've not done any iTunes reviews.
Do you want to do the reviews?
May as well.
So that was Craig Brooks. There you go.
What we're doing here is this like mean tweets where we fight back on what people have said.
Well, we've got a bit of both, if you like.
Okay, go on then.
So the best one is obviously Gaz Oaks, a cornerstone of the week, 5 stars. The best Villa podcast there is, misspelt there, I'm not gonna lie to you, and it's all about Tom Julian. I mean, he's nailed it, hasn't he?
I mean, I did tweet him because I recognised his name from Twitter to ask him about this, and I think it was a sympathy vote is what I've taken away from it.
This one, Sean...
Not even thought that, you've just gone along with what I've said, just accepted it.
Yeah, sure.
But that was your chance to fight back and say, oh, he's picked me for this because I'm good at notage.
Well, he did say that in his tweet to reply to you, didn't he? He said he liked the notes, he liked my efforts, and then he also said he was drunk when he did it.
Yeah, I think... every podcast needs their geek. I think you and I think you provide that.
Don't you think we're geeks in different ways? Like you've got your squad numbers, I got my notes.
That is very geeky. I'd describe that more as a useless skill rather than being a geek. I do like squad numbers. I do follow a Twitter page called Squad Numbers Blog.
Do you?
They quite often do quizzes and stuff. And I do that.
Really?
I do all right.
Yeah. Across the Premier League?
Across everything.
Oh,
football history. That's unlucky. That's unlucky knocking that bottle over. Don't look at me like that. Yes, I do their quiz quite a lot, and it is hard.
Really?
Yeah, I get like 8 out of 12, and that's a good mark.
That's good.
Yeah, but it's hard.
Could I get better doing them, do you think?
Maybe. There's not much Villa on there, if any.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to struggle, aren't I?
Yeah, probably.
Say it again. What's the Twitter
Squad
handle?
Numbers Blog. I can't remember the exact handle. I follow them.
This one, short and sweet. What a podcast. 5 stars. What a podcast.
Who's that from?
GHKJS6.
Well done, mate.
Sounds like a bot.
I can't even remember what it was. GSKG86.
Something like that.
Something along those lines.
Informative and good knowledge. Great show, very informative. This must have been one that you and Dolan did. Very informative
Recently.
from your contacts at the club and media outlets. Keep it up. Look forward to my weekly listen. John from Kent Lions Club. Give us a shout out. There
Thanks,
you go.
John.
John, the Kent Lions Club. If you're looking to get involved in the Kent Lions Club, contact John.
Yeah. I may have picked up some hosting/compare work for one of the Lions clubs, but I'll wait till it's confirmed before I tell more.
Very nice.
Yeah.
This one's called Presenter Problems, 1 star.
This is class.
It all looks...
1 star. That's so harsh for a free podcast.
It all looks and sounds like a small clique of annoying egomaniacs. Someone give them a blogging award so they can make another video telling us how wonderful they are or how Tails is their best mate. I think that's your...
Can't imagine. It could have been Dolan. That
could have been
to be
Dolan,
fair.
Or the time they played at Villa Park. That might be me. Or some insignificant loser and his missed pen. Matt Lynch.
So harsh.
Give this a miss and stick with another podcast I'm going to mention. The saddest thing about this is Stewie AVFC did it on New Year's Day. Did they?
That is sad.
Isn't it?
That is sad. Is that this year?
Come on.
Yeah,
this year.
I feel like he's done one before, like in 2017, the exact same thing.
Oh, really?
Because we didn't. That can't be 2000. That's an old one. But
It says 2019.
No, I agree with you because I've just seen it myself. But he's done that twice then.
Yeah. Seems pathetic.
Thanks, Stewie. I mean, I don't imagine he listens anymore. So
Finn Ford, class pod. Tom Julian makes me laugh.
I mean, we're just picking ones where people have praised you.
No, I'm trying to find some bad
I
ones.
thought you'd screenshotted them.
I have.
Well, why aren't you using the screenshots then?
Because I didn't screenshot too many bad ones.
Oh.
There's a lot
A lot
of
of 5-star good ones there. Why are we not reading them out?
highlight of my week. I love this podcast. I actually found these guys through YouTube. Obviously, if you're listening through iTunes, there's a lot more content on YouTube, so make sure you check out the Villa
You
View.
say a lot more. There's bits and pieces.
Not this week,
Yeah.
that's for certain. Real opinion-based views on all things Villa on and off the field. Genuinely listen to the audience and respond to fans' comments on social media. That's definitely what we do try and do.
Well, we do try and be good at that.
That is the ultimate point of the channel, isn't
Let's
it?
get another 1-star up there for now.
Can I click on just 1 star?
No, well, you've gone back to the bottom now. You've messed right up there.
Sorry. Very good. Somebody gave us very good 4 stars, which is annoying.
Yeah, give us 5. If you're going to say we're very good, at least give us 5.
Dull. Here we go.
Yeah, this will be a good one.
Barney,
1 year ago.
1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2017. I listened with an open mind, but... Sorry, not for me. Too much waffle and a general lack of direction.
Maybe you weren't there that week.
I also don't really agree with the club bigging up favouriting one YouTube channel above all others.
I mean, that definitely doesn't happen anymore.
No.
I can tell you for a fact that doesn't happen.
You should come back, Barney, because we don't get any love from the club. It strikes me as being very unfair and has created a cult of personality around certain presenters. You do have a cult. You know, the arrogance gets to you, quite frankly.
Dan Rolinson's the arrogant one, mate. In
Spielberg.
the old Spielberg over there.
Sounds like two middle-class, middle-aged blokes chatting, sharing in-jokes.
I don't like that, middle-aged blokes.
Yeah, but sharing in-jokes and still nothing gets covered in real depth. I don't mind that. We cover things, but...
if he's listened to tonight, that's probably fair.
The in-jokes are part of it. I love the in-jokes.
A lot of people do love them. You're never going to... And the other thing is, you're never going to please everyone. I'd like to just say that if anyone was wondering why I was just going on about Dan Rolinson, when he did the video on Villa on Tour with Max Stokes, someone had a pop at him for saying that he thought he's so arrogant and said he thinks he's Steven Spielberg, which I've never really seen Rollo get any hate, so I quite enjoyed it.
Poor podcast, really let down, 1 star. Few friends said this was a bit of a shoddy podcast, good start, but thought I would give it a go. Wish I'd listened to them, to be honest. Not great listen, and turned off pretty quick. Shame, really.
I mean, a lot of these are quite a long time ago now, so I think if we went back and listened to our first podcast, it probably would be a mess. I mean, tonight was a mess as well, but it wouldn't be as good as it is now, I don't think.
I mean,
we did get nominated for a blogging award, so we can't have been that bad.
Yeah, and actually going on from there, the nominations for
I feel like we've encouraged people to just leave 1-star reviews now, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's very fun. Like, if you want to leave a review and make it funny, then we'll try and read them out more regularly than we usually do.
Give us 5 stars.
But give us 5 stars.
Not 1 star.
I should say thank you to anyone that nominated us for this time round, the Football Blogging Awards. The nomination period has now closed, so you can't nominate us anymore. I'm not really sure what the setup is, whether there's...
They whittle it down to 10 for each category, don't they? And then if we've got in any of them, we'll be asking for votes again.
But do the nominations already count, or do they roll over? I've got no idea
what do you mean, do they roll over?
Well, as in, let's say that 10 people have nominated us already, and then we get through. Would those 10 people have to nominate us?
No, you got to go again and do the voting form. Yeah.
So if you have nominated us, because last year we found out about it because people nominated us. We didn't even know about it, did we?
I feel like we did, but I can't remember. I was on holiday when we got the news that we'd been down to the
I don't think we'd publicised it anyway.
I think we did.
But thank you to everybody that has nominated us. We really appreciate it. And we'll see what happens. We'll either get nominated or we
in
won't. Manchester
this year, though, isn't it? That doesn't suit us.
I can't go either.
You're away.
I'm away. I'm with work. Yeah.
Yeah. The Etihad. Wouldn't mind going to the Etihad, though. To be fair,
it's the. When is it? Isn't it the week?
May, I think.
It's the last week before the final game of the season, I think.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we've got to get nominated first. We won't be going if we don't get nominated for anything.
It's just after the last game of the season, so before the playoffs. If we should be so lucky.
It's a bad omen like last year. And we didn't win an award and we didn't win the playoffs. Bad times.
Yeah, that was bad times.
Unhappy memories. I've never been the same. No, I've never been the same since that playoff defeat.
Yeah.
It's broken something inside of me.
Or was it the FBA's defeat?
No, I don't care about that.
No.
It was the playoffs that I was upset about. I think that has broken something inside of me that's yet to be repaired.
And will it be repaired come 28th of May?
See, I was saying earlier I'm excited because I think we'll get there. But actually, if we were in a final again, I'd be a bag of nerves. I imagine how horrible it would be to lose again 2 years. Has anyone ever done that? Lost the playoff final 2 years running?
I don't know.
Sheffield Wednesday did. I feel like Sheffield Wednesday have done it recently. So losing the playoffs 2 years running would just be devastating.
Do you think you'll be more nervous should we get there this year than you would be last year?
I felt like last year it was like we had to, as I don't feel because at a point this season I completely given up on it. Whereas last season I was always pretty confident we'd be at least in the top 6. So it feels different.
Yeah.
It was a worry last year, and obviously it turned out to be correct worry because I was worried what would happen with the finances if we didn't go up. Whereas if we don't go up this year, I don't feel like it's as bad. But obviously, I just want to be back in the Premier League.
You feel good going into the Blackburn game?
Yeah, I do.
Even if Tammy can't play?
Yeah, I feel confident. I'm confident in the lads at the moment. Good lads. Yeah. Good players. Playing well. Hopefully everyone comes back from the international break unscathed. Although McGinn's had a suspect international break, hasn't he? Losing to Kazakhstan.
That game was awful. I mean,
I watched that game.
The Scotland team was barely recognisable apart from McGinn.
There was a lot someone at work. I was like, who are they? I don't know. It's bad times when you don't know who half the Scotland players are.
Well, 7 players pulled out just before. But yeah, I mean, I really thought it was a negative move appointing McLeish. I got a soft spot for Scotland. It's
a bad appointment. Someone asked us that, didn't they?
Yeah, Jack Luckhurst, I think, asked us if we have second country teams.
Jack does well because he usually asks about 12 questions, so at least one gets in.
Yeah,
every week.
So I've got soft spots for Scotland for living there for a few years, and you are.
My family's all Italian, so it's Italy for me. Whenever England used to get knocked out, I'd then transfer
Can't do that with Scotland.
I'm dual nationality, mate. In football terms, I could only play for England or Italy.
Have you got a passport?
No, my sister has. I've not sorted it out.
You need to get one.
My sister's done it in the wake of Brexit.
Don't talk about Brexit, mate.
No, I'm just telling you what my sister's done.
No politics here.
Just informing you.
It's politics free, this one.
Yeah, it's got forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got to give Tom Cowley's blog a shout out before we go, haven't we?
Good shout. Yep. Did
I screenshot it earlier?
You
or
have.
Was I useless?
No, I think you did it. So
I did.
Do you want to give a little explanation?
Yeah, so Tom Cowley is someone I probably speak to on Twitter quite regularly. I've never met him, but you feel like you get to know people, don't you? And he opened up about his mental health issues. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Now on Twitter and for his own mental health, he's just started a blog called The Villa Boys from Aston. So that's VBFA_blog on Twitter, and he's done a really, really good piece where other Villa fans have written in and opened up about their experiences with mental health as well. And I think it's done Tom a lot of good, actually, from speaking to him, just starting this blog and knowing the Villa community on Twitter are there for him. I think it's been really helpful to him. So it's just a good piece on mental health. He'll be doing articles and blogs on just normal things about Villa as well that we talk about on our podcast as well. So yeah, just give that a follow if you can, and fair play to Tom, because it's not always easy.
Yeah, I think there's been a few Villa fans in the recent weeks who have come and been able to admit things, whether it's mental health or addiction or that kind of stuff. So it's the good side of Twitter. Where
Mr. Bear as well. He came out and said some lovely guy, Mr. Bear. Met him at quite a lot of Villa away games. One of the, again, top bloke. He's opened up about his demons, and I think that's probably helped him as well. You'd be surprised how many people are suffering with something, wouldn't you? Like everyone has their demons. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Absolutely right. And to be able to talk about it with friends, essentially, like you just said there, you don't necessarily know Tom Cowley, but you do because you speak to him so regularly. So amazing to see that. Well done, Tom. If you are opening up on things, there are definitely proper helplines, but also Twitter community. That's done him the world of good to do that, and that's great, because he sounded like he was really having a bad time and he was really struggling, whereas you see him tweeting now and he's feeling more positive about things. So just by reaching out and just by admitting it in the public domain, that has made him feel better. And he said he was surprised by the reaction. But actually, I think about how many good Villa fans there is, how many good people there seems to be on Twitter as well. It's actually like a good place to open up, because you might feel easier like speaking to people that you have actually never met as well. And like I say, you feel like you know these people, but in reality you haven't ever met them. It's possibly easier to open up. My DMs are always open if any Villa fans struggling, or anyone is struggling and needs someone to talk to. I'm sure yours are open as well, are they? I don't know. Oh, okay. Tom's not very savvy on the old internet, so but yeah, if anyone's struggling, then don't be afraid to speak about it. Absolutely right. A good place to stop. Yep. Thank you very much for watching or listening, or however you're consuming this. Make sure you do something other than watching or listening to it. It's true. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't done already. We did a few iTunes reviews earlier, so if you fancy giving us a review, that'd be really, really good. Thanks again for voting for the FBAs. Make sure you look out for the new content coming out this week, which includes the pre-match preview. And there'll obviously be fan cams on Saturday. There'll be fan cams on Saturday as well. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your international break. Good luck to England. They've just kicked off. Yeah. And we'll see you next week. Yeah, thanks for listening to the ramble. Because feels like there's been very little Villa, or very little like current day. But actually the trip down memory lane is quite nice at times. Very nice. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Up the Villa. Cheers. Rambly end. I need a wee. If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.